that was like the Wild West back then. Yes, you couldn't go anywhere without getting shot at. There's roads and sections, Budweiser and all kinds of American names they applied to all this stuff. So Route Irish was a route between Baghdad and Baghdad Airport. And that run was like a suicide run every time you jumped on that road. But you had to. It was like the only road you could take to the airport. If it gets going to where you need some guys, give me a call. It's my number and all that stuff. And no sooner than I get back home, they're like, we're spinning up. And it's Christmas time, right? 2003. It's right before Christmas. And we need guys to go like now to Iraq and to start the company. We'll go to Chicago for a little bit. It was in Lincolnshire where it started. We'll go to Chicago, start the company. That's where everybody's at now. We'll get everything together. We'll get the finances together and all this other stuff. We'll start working on kit to send overseas and all of this stuff. And then we'll go over and be the first teams on the ground for Triple Canopy. There's already people there, but we'll be the first ones for Triple Canopy. Okay, let's do this. And it was just, so I was like so into it. I was like, God dang. I didn't ask my girlfriend at the time. I didn't ask her, say, hey, I heard about this company spinning up. I'm going to spend some time in Iraq, And I didn't say anything. I was like, I'm going to go to Chicago for a minute, a couple weeks, and then we're going to go to Jordan, I think it was. And then, and also what I thought could have been a thing was we're going to set up from Lincolnshire, go to Jordan, and then set up there, and then eventually get into Iraq. And then just stage there and logistically set up things. So I thought it was going to be a little bit longer personally to make things to get myself into Iraq.
Yeah, get active.
But I was like, wham, wham, wham. And I don't even remember when I first got on the ground, but it happened so fast. And it was like, pack your bags. Before you know it, I'm in Jordan waiting for a flight into Baghdad, Iraq. And so the flight doesn't come. We have all this gear that's arriving and we're waiting for flights. We can't get flights because now the Iraq's kicking off, right? Yeah. And so we can't get a military flight in, so we drive in. So we hired taxis from Baghdad to come out to pick us up at the border of Iraq. And we took taxis to the border. And it was like, oh my God, this is contracting.
Yeah, I'll take a tax.
So we don't have any like true intel. The intel that we get is from the news and whatever we could find out from people that we know are there in Baghdad. And there are some guys in Baghdad still, or already from Triple Canopy, just a couple. We're talking to them about, what's going on. Where are we going to? Where are we going to be housed and all this other stuff? And so we're driving down Highway 1 the whole time, right through Fallujah and Ramadi and the worst.
Yeah.
And it was just, oh my God, it was interesting to say the least. So we're also getting guns when we get across the border. We can't have guns yet. So that's some of the things we're waiting on to happen. Like we don't have any guns that have arrived.
So this trip's unarmed.
No, well,
or like relative, like
we have to get to the Iraqi border, and then once we cross the border, we're going to get guns. Yeah. So the team that was on the Iraq side had I don't know, half a dozen or so people who are bringing the taxis to the border to get us. So, and they also have the guns, the ammo, and all that stuff. So, get to the border, jump in the cabs, and they're Suburbans. They're black, white, and orange Suburbans. Pack all this stuff up, get some guns, and I don't know these things if they work or not. Okay, get a gun, a couple magazines, and let's go to Baghdad. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we're here, let's do it. So I'm also thinking though, still that there's some sort of bigger support apparatus for us. Mm-hmm. like I was used to in the military, right? If it like who are we gonna call? Like surely somebody's got a phone number or radio frequency or call sign to call if we get in trouble. So, but I don't know that. It's like no, we're gonna call the guys in our guys in Baghdad, and hopefully they can make something happen, right? And that's how it ends up to be. But I'm thinking, okay, well, it'll work out,
Yeah,
right?
we'll make this work.
So thank God it just did. Um, but along the way, our drivers decide at one point they're going to quit. And this is like the Highway 1 around probably the Ramadi area. And they just pulled over, just randomly pulled over and had like a sit-in strike kind of thing going on. It's like, no, they're hearing from whoever it is they're talking to that it's too dangerous to go into Baghdad.
Yeah, we
like,
fucking hired you for this.
Yeah, we're out in the middle of the desert, Highway 1. It's like, so they're fine. They're just gonna sit, squat, and just like we're gonna be here until whenever. It's like no. So the dudes in Ramadi are like right there. There's another group of bad guys there, and then Fallujah. There's those dudes, and this is the road they use too. There's only one road.
Yeah,
it's like well, we can't stay here. And all of the Americans that were with me, they were like, we got to try and convince these guys that this is, but they got to get us to Baghdad. Just get us to Baghdad. We'll pay you more money, whatever it is. And they weren't taking money. They're like, no, they absolutely refuse. Like, you can't pay me enough to go to Baghdad tonight. It's like, what? So eventually we convinced them that this is the right thing to do to get us there. Then we'll pay you this much money and we're fine. You can be done with us. And they eventually get us there, but we get there late at night. And I don't know Baghdad yet. So the guys that drove out to get us are the ones driving back in. They're the only ones that know Baghdad. The streets, the environment. Yeah. So, and we're coming in just like we own the place, driving through Baghdad to get to the green zone, to get to where we're supposed to stay. And I have no idea. So it's not like, we all have GPS systems and we all have a plan route on it and maps out and like a tactical move or nothing. We don't have any of that stuff. And I'm just literally going wherever this driver takes us. And so with this convoy, I don't know, there's a huge convoy. It had to be at least 10 vehicles, all orange and white Suburbans, just driving through Baghdad, and sun's starting to go down, and it's starting to get dark when we get there eventually. And I had no idea where we were at the whole time. It's like, okay, I know I'm in Iraq. I know I'm in Baghdad, or I know I was near Ramadi and Fallujah and all those main cities on the way there. But if something happened and I had to say where I was, I would not have known exactly where I was. And we finally get to the green zone, and there's these at the checkpoint we go through. There's American tanks and all the stuff. The first real like, holy shit, we're in Baghdad. Here we go. They drop us off. We get all our stuff out. The cabbies, we're gone as soon as they were emptied. Give them some money and never saw them again. But yeah, that was an experience. And it's like, I'm asking the questions now. It's like, well, surely you guys had somebody here watching, like waiting to react and respond to us, like a QRF or something somewhere. And they're like, yeah, no.
Yeah. You guys are on your own.
The Army's doing Army stuff. Yeah, they're on their own. They're doing their own thing. They're busy.
Were you guys seeing a lot of engagements, or were
oh yeah,
it was pretty commonplace with that?
That was like the Wild West back then. Yes, you couldn't go anywhere without getting shot at. Yeah, even in Baghdad. So the Army, or they mapped out everything, gave everything names that they can remember or associate with. So there's roads and sections, Budweiser and all kinds of American names they applied to all this stuff. So Route Irish was a route between Baghdad and Baghdad Airport. And that run was like a suicide run
Yeah.
every time you jumped on that road. But you had to. It was like the only road you could take to the airport. So, and everybody used to get hit on that road. If you were on it, you were going to expect to get hit. Army was on it. They got smacked around on that. Everybody that was on that road got smacked around on that thing. So that was like, you kind of couldn't avoid it. Right.
Mhm.
So as a contract company, we didn't have helicopters and stuff that could fly to the airport. We have to drive. So it was one of those things like, well, put on your vest and get your eye pro and your ear pro in and get your mouthpiece in and get ready to get in it, because we had to go to the airport. It was mostly logistical, picking up people. So that they used to use that a lot still, or then the airport was actually functioning. So we'd have to have, we got to go get another group of people.
You're like, we'll see what happens this time.
Yeah, let's do this, right? Hopefully it works out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did CIA and like the opportunity of GRS start kind of crossing your radar?